Hello, good people of YouTube. Sealord here, and today we are talking about everyone's favorite credit printing mode, Asymmetric Battles. And the title is correct, believe it or not, they have been nerfed yet again because, of course, right? We can't have too much fun and make a bunch of credits out of it because that's not allowed, right? But in today's video, I'm going to talk about what's happened and how you can still manage to make quite a bit of profit from this mode, so make sure you stick around for that. But asymmetric battles, yes, they are currently active in the game, and you've got until January 8th to get your bot beating fix in. If you don't know how asymmetric battles work, it's pretty simple. You and some fellow players in higher tier ships are on one side. You and up to 5 players to be exact. The other side is populated by 12 AI controlled bots. Now, these bots are, depending upon what ships are on your team, range from a couple of tiers to several tiers lower than you, but there's more of them. And naturally, that means you have to carry more weight than you normally would in a random battle. Now, granted, they are bots. They are the improved bots, but they're still bots, right? Like, they're not overtly hard to beat. And, of course, they are a couple of tiers to several tiers lower than you. So you have the upper hand there in your human brain and in your higher tier ship. Now, asymmetric battles has been around beforehand. In the previous iteration, it was quite the credit printing machine. You could take your favorite high-tier ship into this mode and easily exit with anywhere from 1 million plus to several million credits, depending upon just how good you did in the mode. Especially for those of us that like the more brawling battleships like the GK, the Palmer, and the Schlieffen, the Ohio, the Massachusetts, the Georgia, all those ships that are great at brawling. You could enter into this mode, slap W, make easily 1 million plus credits around, which is of course fantastic, right? But of course, that was too much fun, and Wargaming nerfed it directly. Well, more specifically, she nerfed one class directly, and that was, of course, battleships. We were having fun, we were making money, and we were enjoying the game. Again, not allowed, so Nerfed hits the battleship class there, and their income gets nerfed directly. Now, truth be told, while it was, painful to lose some of the credits that you were making every round, I was still making like 1 million plus credits around playing GK in this mode, so it was still doing quite fine. And the other classes as well were still, doing well economically. And of course, it was fun to just beat the crap out of bots. Now, the way the economy in asymmetric battles work, it's not the same as the economy in random battles. If you don't know, there's a different economic formula used for random battles, same with co-op and same with operations, because of course in random battles you're going up against players, and damaging other players' ships is going to net you more rewards than damaging a ship controlled by a bot. So naturally they had to adjust it as such. In Wargaming's own words, the economy for asymmetric battles is better than co-op, but still less than random. So it's somewhere in between there. Now, last Friday night, on the Friday night live stream, we pretty much played asymmetric battles exclusively for the stream. We hopped in and out of randoms every now and then, but it was mostly asymmetric battles. And throughout the night, I was noticing that I was earning even less credits than I had earned in the previous iteration of Asymmetrics, which I thought was pretty weird. Now, I of course expected this on the battleships because Wargaming had directly nerfed the battleship's income, but I was noticing that despite, getting like 6 kills, 7 kills a match, I was still not really breaking 1 million credits, which was weird because when I would get 6 or 7 kills previously, even in the nerfed battleships, I was getting over 1 million credits a game. So I thought that was a little odd, so I just decided, well, maybe, with some other changes that are made to battleships, to the economy of battleships, maybe, it's not quite as good. And they did nerf the income that battleship players get from secondary damage a little while ago, so I thought, okay, let me try, a cruiser or something like that. So I took out a couple of cruisers that, of course, were fantastic for this mode, the Schroeder and the Napoli, and yet again, I was still making less credits than I was in cruisers than in the previous iteration of Asymmetrics. And I'm really like, well, what the heck's going on here? Again, I'm still getting like 6-7 kills a game, and I'm making, not barely scratching 1,000,000 credits. Which, I mean, still, if you're still making 800, 900,000 credits around, that's obviously still quite a nice level of income. I'm not trying to say, oh man, I only made 800,000 credits around. I'm just saying it's a little odd. So after that, I stepped back and I looked at a couple other results from other players, and what I realized is that what Wargaming had done is that now in asymmetric battles, you can enter into asymmetric battles from tier 6 to tier 10, well actually to super ships, right? So tier 11. So anywhere from any ship from tier 6 to super ships, you can enter into asymmetric battles. And the way the matchmaking works now is that it populates your opposing team with ships that are 2 tiers lower than the lowest tier ship on your team. So what that means is that, let's say you are in a tier 7 ship and you get matched up with someone in a tier 6 ship. That means your team is going to have tier 5 or even some tier 4 ships, and you're in a tier 7 ship. So you might be thinking, well, okay, cool, I'm in a tier 7 ship, I'm in like a Geniza now, I'm just going to go, beat the ever-living crap out of a bunch of tier 4 cruisers. Yes, you are very much going to do that. But guess what? Lower tier ships have, obviously, less HP. And the way the economy does work is that the amount of damage you do overall does play a factor, and most of the income you get from doing damage to an enemy ship does have to do with their amount of HP that they have overall. So for example, if you watched yesterday's video, you heard me say this: doing 12k to a destroyer is the same as doing 100k to a GK. However, there is a factor there for your overall damage produced. So, while your base income should be pretty similar doing damage to tier 4 ships versus doing damage to tier 6 ships, your overall damage number is going to be lower in the end because, of course, there's less HP to go around. Now, keep in mind, too, tier 8 ships are, of course, going to be matched with tier 9 and tier 10 ships. And that means that you have tier 9 and tier 10 ships that are going up against tier 6 ships. So these are ships that are literally, 4 tiers below tier 10 ships. So needless to say, the power gap there is huge. And again, so is the HP gap. There's obviously less HP in a Colorado than there is in a Montana, right? So again, the tier difference doesn't matter, but I'm just saying there's a lot less HP going around in those instances because Wargaming opened it up from tier 6 to super ships. So you're doing less damage overall is what's happening. And since you're doing less damage overall, you're losing that bit of boost to your income for, again, your total damage at the end of it. So that's what I believe is happening. That, or they've nerfed the income for damage across the board. Now, again, the way the economy works, what's really funny is that even on the wiki page for the economy, there's a little blurb that says, like, we really don't know what's happening 100% for sure. All we know is what we've been told by Wargaming. So, yeah, again, supposedly the way that the damage is supposed to be rewarded in this game is that most of it is supposed to be versus the overall HP of the ships. Again, 12k to a DD that has 12k HP is the same as doing 105k to a full health GK. But again, supposedly you do get rewarded for your overall damage done at the end of the match. So that's what's happening. Now, how can, in my opinion at least, it might be something else, but I think that's what's happening. Now, how can you still make money in this mode? Well, there's a couple things that you can do that still seem to be quite the income booster, and there are things that are normally rewarded, of course, well in random battles. The main thing is capping. If you still solo cap, you're still going to get quite a bit of an income boost. For example, in the GK game, which I believe you should be watching in the background, I capped in my GK and of course I did a ton of damage on top of that as well. And by capping in my GK, I was still able to get a pretty similar end result in this GK match that you're watching in the background versus a GK match in the initial version of Asymmetric Battles when the economy was great and they hadn't nerfed the battleship income. And in the first game, which should be... Okay, so editing Sealord. Here's the end result of this game. All right, take a look at that. All right, don't spook it away by staring too hard. Here is the result from the game in the old Asymmetric Battles mode. You notice that the performance is pretty similar, but because I capped in this mode, I'm sorry, in the most recent mode, you know, I got that boost for capping. And capping does really net you a ton of in-game credits, right? I mean, like, credits going towards your economy. Like, you get a nice boost to your XP income, which, of course, in turn boosts your credit income, and you get placed higher up on the scoreboard because of it. So, TLDR, still cap in this mode. Shooting down aircraft also still gives you a nice boost to your economy in this game, and there can be bot CVs, and of course bot hybrid ships, and of course the spotters that the ships can send up. So make sure you leaving your AA turned on. So those things are still pretty profitable from what we've seen so far. So that's what you need to know to still try and get the most out of this game mode. Other than that, I would, if you really want to press your income, probably play tier 10, because they're, of course, they should only get matched with tier 8, which means that you should still be doing a decent amount of damage overall, and hopefully you'll get a bunch of upper mid-tier ships rather than a bunch of tier 6 ships. Although what is very strange is that in this screenshot that Zernio sent me, he's a fellow TSOF member, he showed off his very lackluster performance. So despite killing 7 ships and doing 263,000 damage, he only got like 1,100 base XP and 714,000 credits, which is still pretty good, right? But look at this matchmaking. They have over half the team are tier 9 ships, right? So really, you would expect that like most of the bot team should be tier 7, right? Nah. They get one tier 7 ship, the rest of them are tier 6 ships. Obviously, tier 9 ships are going to absolutely murder those, right? So that's very strange wargaming. All because they have a Zetan and a Monarch. So, yeah, that's very odd, it seems. So it seems that the matchmaker is like purposely filling it with lower tier ships, which of course have less HP, which I believe is leading to a lower performance across the board. Again, the income is still pretty nice. You're still making quite a bit of profit, but it seems that asymmetrics have been indirectly nerfed through this willingness to add, or this wanting to add, tier 6 ships plus into asymmetric battles. So there is that. So be mindful of that, guys. Again, cap, spot, shoot down aircraft, all those other things that still give you a boost to your income in random battles still seem to give you a boost to your income in asymmetric. So make sure you're doing that and you're not just focusing on murdering the bots, as important and as fun as that is. So guys, let me know what you guys think about this information down below. Do you think it's the damage that's been nerfed? Do you think it's the smaller HP pool that we're being dealt with that is causing this? Just let me know in the comments down below. Hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday, a wonderful rest of your week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.